secrets. And it requires loyalty. And you should never have to question that if someone loves you. What?
It's good.
Huh? No. What?
She know y'all know.
What? Barbie Dangerous.
Bobby Dangerous.
No, you. Finish the line. What's the name of my next? What's the name of my last album?
Pinky.
Not you. Him. Okay, good night.
Nicki Minaj's love life has always kept people guessing, but her current relationship? It's got folks whispering behind closed doors, and with good reason. Behind the glamour and flashy smiles, there's a much darker, deeper story playing out. Many don't realize it, but Nicki seems stuck in a toxic cycle that eerily mirrors the chaos she once escaped. And when you start connecting the dots, the whole situation gets real unsettling, fast. Now let's get into it. To really understand how Nicki Minaj deals with love, you gotta rewind the tape, way back to her early years, where all the emotional wiring first got installed. She was born in Trinidad, but by the time she was just a kid, her family had moved to Queens, New York. That's where life got tough, real tough. In interviews, Nicki has opened up about the trauma she went through as a child, mostly tied to her father, Robert Mirage. Her words? Heartbreaking. She told Rolling Stone that she used to kneel at the end of her bed and pray every night, begging God to make her rich so she could rescue her mom. She explained it like this: because I always felt like if I took care of my mother wouldn't have to stay with my father, and he was the one at the time that was bringing us pain. That house was pure chaos. Yelling, screaming, fights, fists through walls. One time, her dad even set the house on fire, with her mom still inside. Cops showing up became routine. Nicki said she was devastated. I just wanted him to be daddy and be the happy person that I remembered. And I was afraid, very afraid that something would happen to my mother. I had nightmares about it. Those terrifying years carved deep scars. And those scars didn't just fade away with time. They shaped how she grew up, how she loved, and who she trusted. For kids who survive that kind of unstable home life, especially with violence or addiction in the mix, it's more than just trauma. It's a whole rewiring of how they see love and safety. According to the Journal of Family Psychology, kids exposed to unpredictable or abusive parents often grow into adults with something called anxious preoccupied attachment. That's a fancy term, but here's what it really means. They want love badly, desperately, but they also live in fear of being left, ignored, or unloved. They chase validation, cling to reassurance, but never feel totally safe in relationships. It's not just emotional, it's biological. The nervous system starts to see dysfunction as normal because that's what it grew up with. Even with fame, fortune, and millions of fans screaming her name, Nicki couldn't just snap out of that wiring. Deep down, she was still that little girl trying to protect her mom. In her Queen documentary, she gave a chilling confession. I vowed from that age, no man would ever abuse me, call me out my name, or treat me like that. But then, she paused and said something that hit hard. Then, all of a sudden, that was my life. Nicki didn't drop names when talking about her alleged abuser, but what she did reveal. It shook people. She said that toxic relationship sucked the life out of her creativity and made her feel like she wasn't even worthy of inspiring others. I let one human being make me so low, she admitted. I didn't even remember who I was. I was scared to get in the studio. I didn't believe in myself. That's heavy. Back in the early 2000s, Nicki started dating Safari Samuels, and things got messy. By 2011, they were still going strong, but cracks were showing. Then in 2014, things hit the fan. Safari allegedly hit her with a suitcase, and a police report followed. After their split, he tweeted something wild. He claimed Nicki once cut him so deep, he almost died. He said he left their home on a stretcher, but told the cops he'd hurt himself on purpose, just to keep her out of jail. He even hinted this wasn't the first time things got violent between them. Nicki wasn't staying quiet though. She fired back, accusing Safari of stealing her credit card. Safari didn't take that lightly. He clapped back with a whole new mess, claiming he used the card to pay for Women of the Night, but denied ever stealing anything. Then came another accusation. He said Nicki got involved with Meek Mill before they officially broke up.
And then one day, You're yelling, push. You're in pain. Then one day, it comes out. A beautiful baby boy. To God be the glory. Congratulations to every mama out there. You're doing a great job. In case no one's told you that, you're doing a great job.
So now we're talking cheating rumors on top of everything else. Nicki and Meek made their relationship public in 2015, but by 2017 it was over. And then came Kenneth Petty. Now here's where things get even more complicated. Nicki and Kenneth first met way back in high school. They had a thing back then, but eventually drifted apart until 2018, when they reconnected out of nowhere. Sparks flew fast, and before anyone could blink, they were locked in a whirlwind romance. They tied the knot in 2019 and welcomed their son in 2020. According to a friend who spoke to People magazine, their bond runs deep. I think that's what the connection really is with them. It's that he really knows her. The friend said Kenneth isn't into fame or Instagram attention. He's really focused on her. That might sound sweet on the surface, but the headlines told another story. Kenneth's criminal past has followed him everywhere. He's a registered offender due to a serious charge involving Jennifer Hoop, who was 16 at the time. Kenneth was 15 when it happened, and the case involved a non-consensual act in the first degree. Then in 2002, things got worse. He took a man's life. That murder charge was dropped to first-degree manslaughter after a plea deal, and he ended up serving 7 years of a 10-year sentence. When fans started digging into Kenneth's history, Nicki went full defense mode. She shut off comments on social media and doubled down. Her response? He was 15, she was 16, in a relationship. But go off, internet. Y'all can't run my life. Y'all can't even run y'all own life. Thank you, boo. Nicki even made their reunion sound like something out of a love story. On her Queen Radio podcast in 2019, she said, "When a person is with a man that loved them before they had a dime in their pocket," the message was clear. She sees Kenneth as someone who knew her before the fame, before the spotlight, before the pressure. But that old love comes with baggage, and the public isn't letting it slide. How do you not get that? How do you not see the difference between real happiness and chasing clout? Nicki snapped back at critics, and she wasn't holding back. How dare you talk about lowering standards? It's the truth. Money can't buy me happiness. And good sex, she added with fire. Folks couldn't help but throw shade with people saying, "She love her little jail bear, don't she?" Ooh, it was messy. But here's the thing. Nostalgia can really mess with your memory, especially when you're starving for some kind of stability. And for Nicki, Kenneth might have felt like a safe link to life before the fame, even if it meant she couldn't see him for who he truly was. But the drama didn't stop. In March 2020, Kenneth got himself arrested again, this time for not registering as an offender when he moved into Nicki's California home. And in September 2023, another headline. He violated probation after threatening Cardi B's then-husband. The man just keeps getting tangled up in trouble. Nicki herself ended up caught in the legal storm. In August 2021, Jennifer Huff, the same Jennifer from the 1994 case, filed a complaint saying Nicki and Kenneth tried to use their money, power, and fame to pressure her into taking back her claims. Jennifer said Nicki personally called her, begging her to change her story. And it didn't stop there. She claimed Nicki even offered her $20,000 to sign a statement that would erase the accusations. The lawsuit against Nicki, that one got dropped voluntarily. But Jennifer's lawyer made it clear, Kenneth's not off the hook. A case for battery and assault, now with fresh evidence from back in '94, is still active. And just when you thought the drama couldn't get any wilder, picture this. Nicki, Kenneth, and Meek Mill all end up in the same store at the same time. A shouting match broke out, and of course, someone caught it all on video. The Shade Room wasted no time posting a meme poking fun at Kenneth. And guess who liked that post? Yep, Meek. Straight messy. Nicki didn't let that slide for a second. She fired back, posting a pic of Meek with a clown emoji plastered over his face on her Instagram story. Then she took it to Twitter and let it all out. "You beat your own sister and taped it, spit on her and taped it, kicked me in front of your mother and sent her to the hospital." She wasn't holding anything back. Meek denied everything. He clapped back, throwing shade at Nicki's brother over his conviction for assaulting a young girl. And he made his stance clear. I don't hit women, and I'm not gonna let my interviews get hijacked with questions about her or any of this drama when I'm trying to promote my new album. Nicki's claims marked another chapter in her history of relationships filled with emotional and physical pain. That made it the second time she publicly admitted to being harmed by a partner. And when you look at her past, the chaos, the instability, it's hard not to see a deeper pattern forming. Experts believe that a rough upbringing like Nicki's doesn't just fade away. It rewires how someone views love, trust, and danger. Her childhood may have quietly shaped a version of love that's more survival than safety. When it comes to her relationship with Kenneth, some psychologists say this kind of loyalty to troubled partners isn't random. It's rooted in unresolved pain. According to Women Who Love Psychopaths by Sandra Brown, women who've been through early trauma and grow used to emotional chaos often mistake red flags for intensity. That kind of woman might see herself as chosen by a man the world has rejected, and that connection starts to feel like rebellion or even redemption. Nicki's public defense of Kenneth fits that mold. Every time people raise concerns about his criminal past, she frames it as an attack on their love. She flips the script, making it about us versus the world. That's classic trauma thinking, where outside concern is mistaken for betrayal. Instead of pulling back, she clings harder. It stops being about the man and becomes all about proving everyone else wrong. But here's the twist. Sometimes proving the world wrong means ignoring all the flashing warning signs until it's too late. There's even a psychological term for this kind of situation: shared psychosis. It's when two people get so emotionally locked in, they start reinforcing a shared delusion. That doesn't mean Nicki literally believes Kenneth is innocent, but it could mean that, in her mind, defending him, she's defending herself. If she ever admitted the full truth, it would feel like breaking her own heart, like she'd be betraying herself. So instead of facing that, she pushes even harder to rewrite the story, to make it look like she's in control, because facing the reality would also mean facing her past. Then came another emotional blow. In February 2021, Nicki's father was killed in a hit-and-run. She called it the most devastating loss of her life. She posted, "I find myself wanting to call him all the time, more so now that he's gone. May his soul rest in paradise. He was very loved and will be very missed." Even though he had turned his life around, gone through rehab, and was sober when he passed, the damage from her early years couldn't just be undone. That pain didn't disappear. It left its mark. And that emotional imprint, it's still very much part of Nicki's story today. Nicki's mind, deep down in her subconscious, is still wired to chase what feels familiar. And for her, familiar means chaos, volatile men, unsteady love, the kind of emotional roller coaster that feels like passion, but is really just confusion. While there haven't been any public reports or claims that Kenneth has physically harmed Nicki, let's be real. Just because someone doesn't lay hands on you doesn't automatically make them a safe space. No pain doesn't always equal peace. From the start, Kenneth's past has been a heavy cloud hanging over their relationship. His legal history and the weight of his reputation have followed them everywhere, dragging Nicki's public image through the mud. That kind of baggage isn't just tabloid gossip. It can take a serious toll behind closed doors. Therapy ? That's the real key. Nicki has spoken up about mental health before, and that's a strong move. But here's the thing. Even when we say we're healing, our actions can still be shaped by old beliefs we don't even realize we're carrying. Psychologists point out that many people unconsciously recreate the same patterns that hurt them, because deep down, they still think that's what love looks like. To some fans and observers, Nicki choosing to marry Kenneth isn't a sign of full recovery. It might be proof that some wounds are still wide open. Until she confronts what love felt like before she ever learned what love should be, she'll keep reaching for relationships that replay that same inner confusion she once survived as a kid. Because here's the truth: no amount of success, money, or fame can stop the heart from chasing the emotional blueprint it grew up with. When your foundation is pain, peace can feel like a stranger. A calm relationship, it might even feel wrong, unfamiliar, like something you didn't earn. And that is the real heartbreak, when someone powerful, brilliant, and talented like Nicki ends up stuck in love stories that echo childhood trauma. For more tea like this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Juicy Scoop TV. The drama never stops, and neither do we.